So where do research ideas come from and how do they get funded? Great question. Glad I thought of it. So the idea that research comes from somewhere particular is something we need to talk about. The ideas for research can come from many different places, and one of the great joys of my job is every day I'm speaking with people who are from the community, from health services, from policy, and those kind of discussions are really rich places to think about what kinds of research questions or issues are ripe to explore. Researchers read a lot. We read other people's research, we read our community partners magazines, we read what's happening in policy, and we put all of those things together in ways to inspire new ideas and creativity around how to approach the kinds of things that we're interested in. Now, turning those ideas into a fully fledged research project is a long task and obviously depends on some funding. And I know many community organisations will be in similar boats, having lots of great ideas, but not too many places to have them funded. In research, there are kind of two main ways in which we get research funded. One is strategic research funding, and the other one is investigator-driven. Now, strategic research is where a funder, perhaps a government health department, would come to us and say, we need research about X. Now, with our conversations and with our community partners, we might be able to massage that a little bit to make it sort of X plus Y, but really the funder has decided they want research about X. Investigator-driven research is different, and there's the opportunity that we can pitch within reason, within the funder's guidelines, anything we want. And there are two main bodies that provide investigator-driven research funding in Australia. One's the NHMRC, which is the National Health and Medical Research Council, and the other is the Australian Research Council, or the ARC. Now, this is great, and that's where we get this opportunity to think creatively and put a lot of ideas into the pot to pose the questions that are of interest to us. And we can overlay these with the kind of social research ideas we might be interested in, like gender or trust or culture and so on. The real thing to remember about that investigator-driven pot is that the success rate is really low, typically around 13, 14, 15%. So it's a huge amount of effort for sometimes no return year after year after year, which we won't get into that story. But this is an issue of how to engage communities in that type of research when we know the chance of success is really low. We know community organisations and community members have a finite set of resources themselves. So this is a kind of a tricky question that we keep working on. To what extent do we engage with the community to build those kind of research projects when we have such small chance of success? A third way of thinking about research ideas is not to build whole new projects, but to take ideas that we've generated through formal or informal discussions or reading something or having a community member join us in discussing research ideas and put those ideas into existing projects. So we might be able to add additional questions to a survey that we have running in another project. We might be able to use ideas to examine interview data that we've already collected and have a new analysis. So again, there's lots of different ways for community members to influence the research agenda and work in partnership with us to influence the results that eventually come out.